All right. Welcome back. Off the Edge. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Cameron Lynch. And today, time flies when you're having fun. It's week
Yeah.
4 already. So that means it's time to have our week 4 picks. But before we get into that, just want to let you guys know if you enjoy this at any point, hit the like button. It really does us a favor. And also be sure to subscribe.
Facts.
We're at 749 subscribers, so we're getting closer to that 1K.
1K.
Obviously, we have bigger aspirations than just 1K, but we appreciate all the new subscribers on here. It's
Hell
awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Loving it. And almost at 4,000 watch hours. Not yet, but we'll get there at some point. We'll get there.
Yes, exactly. So, Cam, it was a wild week. We'll just decide to go with the week 3 top performers and call it, because we could go on and on and on. You're a special team guy. I'm sure that was hard to watch this weekend.
Oh man, you talking about Rams and Eagles, that block kick, bro? That was
the Buccaneers, the Browns. Take your pick, man. There was there was block kicks everywhere.
Everywhere. But it was great. That Rams game was to the wire. Even the Buccaneers game was to the wire. Yeah, it's just great football, Jake. It's great football. It's great right now. I know it's only week 4, so we got a lot of ball left, but let's enjoy it while we can, because this is good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of which, we already, kind of hinted at it, but Baker Mayfield and Carson Wentz were two guys that we highlighted to be top performers. And man, did they live up to it. Say what you will, Carson Wentz kind of had to manage the game, but that's a good thing. He managed the game. That's something that I was saying the Vikings were really without. And Wentz had 2 passing touchdowns in this game. He got TJ Hawkinson going against a 2-0 Bengals team. And obviously we know Isaiah, I'm totally blanking on his name right now, but he just had 2 touchdowns. Okay. Isaiah Rodgers had 2 touchdowns
on the defensive side.
Yes, he had quite the game. So you love to see it. Anytime a defensive player is getting in the end zone twice, there are some guys that don't even get in the end zone once throughout their whole career. He did it twice in a game. So crazy game from him. But yeah, Carson Wentz was a big time performer. The Vikings need to have it, and he comes through. And Baker, let's talk about it. What were your thoughts on Baker? I understand it was the Jets, but you had to come back, you had to make the throws, and he did.
Yeah, Baker looked really great. The fact that he has Mike Evans and Ibuka on his side that helps out a lot. Bucky Irvin running the ball really well. But Baker Mayfield, they came back, right? They were down at one point towards the end, and they came back. So it was a heck of a game. I think Baker, what impresses me the most, Jake, is just the clips on the sideline, talking to his teammates, hyping his guys up. He found his home, and it's really cool to see. He had a juke play, Jake. I think it was like in the second quarter where he made the number 95 for the Jets fall to his knees. So he's making plays with his arm, but also in the run game. He's a great leader for that team, and he was my top performer. And Jake, before we go forward, I want to go back to Carson Wentz. I want to go back to just him making his resurgence in the football world. I know he played for the Chiefs before, and he's now playing for the Vikings. But how about that Vikings defense? It was the Vikings defense, Jake, last week for week 3, and then also the Steelers defense. I think they forced 5 turnovers. And so it's kind of easy to play ball when your defense is getting you the football back. You talking about Isaiah Rodgers. He had a scoop and score. He had an interception for a touchdown. And then I think they forced 3 turnovers just by punching the football out. And so Carson Wentz is like, oh, this is fantastic. I appreciate you. So, that Vikings offense looked pretty good because of the great Brian Flores defense. Bro, Jake, that Vikings defense had, Jake Browning swimming that whole game. He was swimming the whole game. He was struggling. So at one point, Jake, I thought they were going to give up. Like I thought that Bengals team was going to give up, just how smothering that team was. But it's good to see Carson Wentz bounce back. It's good to see Baker Mayfield step in and make big plays. And bro, he's looking like a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. I keep saying it every week. I know I said like 5 or 6 last week, but he's looking like a top 10 quarterback, and I'm happy to see him ball out.
Yeah, no, Baker's easy for me to root for. So is Carson Wentz. So love them both, and I was very glad to see that. But now we attempt to have some good week 4 performers that we are going to predict here. We're going to start off with quarterback. Cam, who's your quarterback this week?
Jake, I got Caleb Williams this week. Last week he showed out. I don't know if that was one of yours as well, but
That was mine from earlier in the year. So
yeah,
I like Caleb a lot. I do.
yeah. I mean, he went 19 for 28 last week for 298 yards against the Cowboys, and we saw the Cowboys defensive backs struggle really against Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson threw for I think 400 yards the week before, and so Caleb's like, oh, let me do the same thing. So he found Robadunze a lot. I think that offense is clicking. Swift looked really great in the backfield, but Caleb Williams really showing out. Went for 298, 4 touchdowns, had a 142 passer rating, so that was the best in his career. And then 0 sacks, Jake. I think that's a big deal when you don't take any sacks as a quarterback. It's his first time, so it's only his second year, but it's his first time that he didn't take any sacks. NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, he's crushing. He's finding his groove, and I think people have been showing on social media, like when C.J. Stroud went to go console Caleb, like, "Hey, keep your head up in the league, big dog. Like, you're going to be a great quarterback here." And then to see C.J. Stroud's regression. Not saying he's a horrible quarterback, Jake, but he's struggling a little bit, right? And Caleb Williams is trending upwards. But I got Caleb as my top performer this week. He crushed it last week, and it was good to see.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's one of those things, man, where life flashes before your eyes, right? It really, like, he goes from C.J. Stroud looking like the future of this league to now, like you said, he's struggling. And I do think that's kind of, it's unfortunate because I think he's one of the better quarterbacks to root for, one of the nicer guys. And like you said, and honestly, I give him credit because the guy he looked up to, the guy he said was Stafford. And everybody always says, Tom Brady or, Peyton Manning or whatever. He said Stafford, so I'm going to give him credit there because no one ever says Stafford, right? But as far as Caleb Williams goes, the offensive line is still an issue. The Cowboys are a bigger issue. That secondary is just not good. Yeah. And so when I look at, this weekend, and there's some bad blood there, we're not even going to see a Micah Parsons, ceremony or any sort of remembrance for him. And Cowboys fans are not happy about that, by the way. Jordan Love is my quarterback this week. He is going to ball the hell out against the Cowboys. We saw last week, I don't know what he was thinking throwing that to the Browns there. I mean, that was a horrendous decision, but you've said it on this show. I said Caleb before. You said Jordan Love, so we're swapping this week. I love Jordan Love. So if you are a better fantasy footballer, whatever, and you have a chance for daily fantasy, you want to get in on Jordan Love, this is the week to do it. And I would even go as far as to say, Cam, it's gotten to the point, any quarterback against this secondary, sign me the hell up.
yeah, they're gonna eat. They're gonna eat for sure. And you mentioned Jordan Love, and I want to shout out that Browns defense, Jake. I think the Browns defense is a little bit better than people realized. I think they're causing pressure on Jordan Love. They went and got him, I think, 4 to 5 times. So he had a tough time. But this week, like you mentioned, going against the Cowboys, he's gonna show out. He's gonna ball out. And Micah Parsons, what does Micah Parsons do to Dak Prescott this week? That's what I want to know. That'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I think I want to give a hat tip to Dak because that's not a great situation, and I think he's handled it very well. I think he's still a great quarterback in this league, does not get enough respect, and I think he's playing well. And despite the fact CeeDee Lamb went down, and they're not going to have CeeDee Lamb in this game, so I do expect Dak to give him an opportunity to compete. I just think that the Packers are just going to be too much. Jordan Love is my quarterback. Cam, my running back is Omarion Hampton versus the Giants.
Yeah. Chargers.
Giants can't stop the run. Everything else I like about the Giants, defense. Defense. But let me make that very clear. But Omarion Hampton, really unfortunate because kind of, going back to what you said, Najee Harris, you're really excited for Najee. He's had quite the year, man. He had the injury, with the fireworks, and now here he is, tearing his Achilles, I guess is what I read. So really, really frustrating, unfortunate. He has been a model of consistency in this league, regardless of what you think about him. 1,000-yard receiver every single season he started, and he stayed healthy. And so it sucks to see him go down. It sucks to see any player go down, but when a running back goes down, it's really tough because they do have that kind of floor, that 30-year-old floor. I mean, 98% of running backs hit that floor, hit that ceiling.
Yeah.
So
think like a Todd Gurley, like the Nick Chubbs. It's like they just slowly just start to dwindle, sadly, as they get hurt. And it's tough. Christian McCaffrey, like, I mean, he's still catching the ball, running
James
the ball.
Conner, unfortunately, had another injury as well. So, prayers out to both of them. I hope they have speedy recoveries. I'm hoping they're able to recover and play in this league. I'm a little bit higher on Najee Harris because he's younger. James Conner, later in his career, that's going to be tough. So I hope he does come back from that. He's a good dude. He beat cancer. I'm sure he could beat this. But Omari and Hampton, this is his backfield now, right?
Yeah.
And it's a great matchup against the Giants. And the Giants, I mean, all of a sudden, that 0-3 Giants team against a 3-0 Chargers team, that game is going to be fun to watch because whether you like him or not, Jackson Dart playing is a total wild card. It makes that game way more watchable than Russell Wilson. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, Russell, he goes from a 400-yard game into struggling the next one. It was tough to see. But Jackson Dart, curious to see how he's gonna ball out. Jake, I have my defender actually that's a little bit later, and it's going to tie to Jackson Dart in the Giants. But I'm going to go with my running back. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. He struggled against the Steelers, my guy. I mean, he might have had the worst game of his career. He had 2 fumbles, one at the goal line, which was brutal.
Because I traded for him right before the game, 30 minutes before the game.
Wait, what happened again, Jake?
I traded for him in my dynasty league. You were talking about fantasy football last week?
Yeah.
I traded for Ramondre Stevenson, put him in my lineup 30 minutes before the game, and he had -2 points when I was looking. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. He had a tough day, Jake, but I do think he's going against the Panthers this week. I think he's gonna crank it up. I think the Panthers are gonna have to pay. Panthers finally got a win against the Falcons, like 30-0. It was kind of crazy to watch. Michael Penix didn't do well, so they brought in the backup, but Kirk Cousins. But yeah, it was tough to watch that Falcons and Panthers game. So I do think Ramondre is going to have some revenge this week against the Panthers. And we mentioned, I think they have one of the better backfields in the NFL. The Steelers just balled out. The Steelers, like I mentioned, the Steelers and the Vikings, they forced, I think, 5 turnovers, my guy, 3 forced fumbles. And so they were on a mission, and Ramondre Stevenson on the other, unfortunately, was on the wrong side of that mission, on the failing side of that mission. But I got him going off against the Panthers. You mentioned that this Patriots team is a sleeper team. I still think so. Just the way that they're balling out. Drake May, it's good to see him progressing, in the second year. I hope Drake May has a better trajectory than what CJ Stroud and those guys are doing, right? Your Bryce Youngs, he's looking like he's gonna pan out here nicely. I mean, even think about just like Daniel Jones, right? Like how guys move forward. But Drake May, he's looking good. It just tough. And as I'm talking, I'm thinking about like the CJ Strouds, like Bryce Youngs. Like I just hope that they just figure their shit out. But Drake May, he's crushing it right now.
Hey, no, I'm with you there, and I'm totally with you there because on top of you talking about the Steelers and doing a nice job, you know what they didn't do a nice job against? The tight end. They gave up 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards to Hunter Henry. Man, he turned back the clock. He's still a really good player in this league. You know who else is a really good player in this league, Cam? TJ Hawkinson of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Hawkinson got going, had a touchdown. Carson Wentz, 25% of the target share, by the way, TJ Hawkinson. So I think Hawkinson is going to go off this week. So I'm excited. I think Wentz is going to keep throwing to him the ball, and here's why. I was tempted. Suspended 3 games. He comes back. Jordan Addison is going to be with this game. But that made me think, Cam, it opens up the door more for TJ Hawkinson. Now he's going to have more opportunities because now you have to guard Justin Jefferson. Now you have to worry about their running back too. I mean, Jordan Mason is legit, man. We knew this, right? We talked about the 49ers getting rid of him was just dumb, but brutal. Jordan Mason is him. And so you look at him, right? And then you have Justin Jefferson and you got Addison and you got Jalen Naylor with all that experience now because he started for the first 3 games. And then you have Hawkinson. a lot of weapons there for Carson Wentz. And yeah, I'm excited for Hawk. I think he needed a little bit of an awakening, and I think last week he got that. He just works better with Wentz than he did with McCarthy. Who do you have as your
and Jake, I want to ask you this. Is it the year of the tight end? I mean, I know like the Kittle and the Kelsey. I just we talk about it each week. There's tight ends that show up. We talk about Kraft. We talk about Trey from the Cardinals. Like there's so many tight ends that are just showing up and appearing. So it's really cool to see these guys progress. Brock Bowers. I mean, there's so many. But for me, at the wide receiver position, Jake, I kind of went with like a dark horse. I went with Trey Tucker's with the Raiders.
It's so funny you did that. I almost went with Trey Tucker myself, and I was like, no, not back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. Jake, he went 8 for 9 for 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, as long as he had 61. Cincinnati guy, second year. Jake, at one point, I was like, wait, are they going to double team him at some point? Because he's going off, my guy. And so I think the Bears might think about, hey, we need to keep a spy on this young man because he tore it up. And so against the Washington Commanders, like you think about the Commanders, of course they got the win, but you think about the Commanders, think about their coaching staff and what they're made of in their defense. And Trey just crushed them. So I got Trey this week. I'm going to roll with him against the Bears. I know the Bears are coming off a win, a big game, but against the Cowboys, but I got Trey Tucker doing this thing. And yeah, man, it's just good to see guys emerge, especially for this Raiders team. They needed Geno Smith looking decent back there, and having Trey Tucker to throw to is pretty dope.
Yeah, Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers. People said they were crazy for not going out and getting another receiver. Just kidding. They went out and got Amari Cooper, and then he retired the next day. But hey, those two, I've been a big Trey Tucker fan. He's actually been on my dynasty league now for I think 2 years. So nice. I've held on to him. Of course, he was on the taxi squad, so he wasn't playing. So I had to watch 44 points pour in essentially on my bench. That's not an easy sight, as you know. All right, defensive. Last thing here before we move on to the picks. Will Anderson is going to be a no-brainer for me as a top performer this week. He's going up against Dan Moore. You know my thoughts on Dan Moore. I don't think he's that great at left tackle. And poor Cam Ward, man, just 31 pressures this past week from the Indianapolis Colts. I thought Tyquan Lewis looked great off the edge. He's really starting to emerge in this league and really become a good player. So is Latu. I'm sorry. I like Cam Ward a lot. I just watched the film. Cam Ward is legit. He can make the throws. He's got the quick release. But this offensive line, at least the tackles, they're going to get him killed, Cam. So unfortunately, an 0-3 Texans team that lost on an interception late in the game near the goal line, they are going to be pissed against the Titans. I don't see them losing this game, and Will Anderson's going to be a big reason why.
Will Anderson, he's a beast, Jake. The Rams saw him week 1, and he just causing pressures, causing havoc back there. I totally agree. Jake, from my defensive side, I got Derwin James, Brody.
I like it.
I don't think we're highlighting him enough. The things that he's doing on the defensive side, especially with Khalil Mack going out, they're bringing Derwin James up to the line of scrimmage, Jake. He's playing in the box. He's playing safety. He's covering on the outside. I mean, he might be one of the best defensive players, I think, that's playing in the league right now. Maybe top 10, I would say. Of course, you got your Myles Garrett's and stuff like that. But Derwin James, he's really doing it all. He had 12 tackles last week, 10 solo, my guy. Like, come on, fam. He had four TFLs and 1 sack. So he's really doing it all. One thing I will say, I think he's only the 6th player and the first defensive backs since tackles for loss since he was traded back in 2008. I don't know if I read that right, but he's balling out, my guy. There's not many defensive backs doing what he's doing. Derwin James, man, it's cool to see. And Jake, you just think about like that Florida State team that had Derwin James, that had Jalen Ramsey. I mean, like those guys were stacked, but Derwin James is translating to the NFL, and I got him this week too against the Giants. We talked about it. Jackson Dart is starting this week, so I think Derwin James is going to give him hell. Dayon Henley as well. it's going to be a long day, my guy, for the Giants. And you think about the Chargers. You mentioned before the show, what do the playoff teams look like? The Chargers are looking sharp, my guy. You look at like those offensive stats. Each receiver has like 50 yards plus. Come on, man. It's going to be a long day for the Giants.
No, I'm with you. I'm very high on the Chargers. Very high. It feels like I wasn't when Rashawn Slater went down, but the way Joe Alt has played left tackle, I mean, man, they look ready. The defense is coached well, and Justin Herbert, they're keeping him clean, and man, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. We move on to our picks. So let's start off Thursday Night Football. We got the Seattle Seahawks coming off a bulldozing win against the Saints, 2-1, taking on the Arizona Cardinals, who are also 2-1, coming off a brutal last-second loss to the 49ers where they lost on a field goal. Never like that. Cam, where are you going with this one, my guy?
This one, Jake, I got to go Seahawks on this one. I know James Conner being out, that's going to be tough. The running game, like, where is it at? So I got Seahawks 24-20 on this one. I think Sam Darnold's going to show up. I think he's going to make things happen against the Saints. Right, he had like a 12-yard per attempt passer rating, so he was doing his thing there. But with James Conner going out, man, like you talk about at the top of the show, some of these injuries, bro, are brutal. And it can change the whole trajectory of a team. Kyler Murray doing pretty decent last week, but Marvin Harrison Jr., did he show up? I'm not sure, but
no, he dropped.
We got Trey.
That drop was awful, Cam. That drop was terrible. That cost him the game.
Yeah, cost him the game. I mean, and he's wide open, I think, on that pass.
Wide open.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't be more wide open than that. And so I think they're really going to have to lean on Trey at the tight end position when it comes to the Cardinals and just figure it out. But I think the Seahawks win this one. I think their defense is looking pretty good. And you talked about it, Kenneth Walker. I mean, I think he jumped over someone last week. So I think he's going to do something similar against the Cardinals team.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. Anytime you get rivalry games, good rivalry teams, it's a fun game. I'm also going to take Seattle in this one. I don't trust Drew Petzing. I think he is a terrible offensive coordinator for the Cardinals, at least this year. What he's done in the past is irrelevant right now. Right now, he's not a good offensive coordinator. He's not putting Kyler Murray in the best position to succeed. He's not putting Trey McBride in the best position to succeed. When you have a tight end who is capable of a 15-catch, 200-plus yard day, and your offense can't move the ball, use him.
Brutal.
Use him. Right? And the thing I have, Cam, is the Cardinals in the offseason told us they were going to have kind of what I would call a Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver room, where they don't spend that much capital into it, and they just tell you that, yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster's good enough, right? He's really not, but he is because we have Patrick Mahomes, and we believe in our play calling. Fine. The Cardinals are doing that, but they're not the Chiefs. They don't want Patrick Mahomes, and there's zero reason to believe in the play calling. On the flip side of that, Seattle, Sam Darnold looks great. They're actually meshing very well. The offensive line isn't really protecting him well, but he's doing so well at moving around the pocket that he can make plays. Then on top of that, you just mentioned Kenneth Walker. He's back. They're able to run the football with him. And on top of that, Jackson Smith-Njigba is second in the league, only behind Puka Nacua for receiving yards. And that doesn't shock me. I've been saying this guy he has superstar written all over him, and you can see it. You got Cooper Kupp. You saw Torrey Horton go off for 2 touchdowns, return touchdown, and then a receiving touchdown. They got options there. And then that defense, right? McDonald. I think this is going to be more of a defensive bout, so I'm going to take Seattle here 23-17 on Thursday Night Football.
Nice. And then I want to call out Darion Kendrick as well. He had a pick, which was pretty good. 3 pass deflections. Yeah, former Ram. So that's really cool to see him go to the Seattle Seahawks and make things happen. So, Jake, I know this is a division matchup. You got Ernest Jones over there as well. I mean, I guess they're just poaching all the good players that they see to make things happen. And then I want to call out Horton as well. You mentioned it, Jake. He had a return for a touchdown and then receiving touchdown. Though it's kind of like Trey Tucker. Like, those are the players, like those dark horse players that are going to change the tide for teams. And I think it'll be the same this week against the Cardinals.
I agree. And I will give a shout out to Trey Benson. This is your moment, big time, FSU running back, fun to watch. Well, James Conner's gone now. So you not only are a nice little piece, you have to be the piece. You have to step up. You have to, solidify the run game. And he's got breakaway speed where if you can't tackle, he is going to make you pay. But I don't think it's going to be enough. So we move on. Sunday Night Football. One that everyone will be talking about because of just the storyline, but really I don't think it's going to be that close. You have the Green Bay Packers heading to Jerry World to play the Dallas Cowboys, and this is the return of Micah Parsons since he's been traded. And of course, Jerry Jones came out and said we're not going to celebrate him at all. There's going to be no ceremony, nothing, no slideshow, PowerPoint, nothing, right? I have never heard of this ever. I mean, I don't know if you follow that well, but do you remember Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for the New York Yankees? Well, the point is, a lot of people probably don't even know who that is. And the Yankees gave him a, scoreboard memorial type of thing. Yeah. And like he started for them, but like he's not somebody that like everybody knows, right? And they still did that. And I feel like this happens all the time where, that you show a guy some love. Like there's nothing wrong with it. You do it before the game. It's not like you already know the result and they beat you up and you hate them and then you have to do it after. It's before the game, right? No, Cowboys aren't doing it. Fans are not happy about it. And
we're downright disrespectful.
It is disrespectful. It really is. I don't think it's a good look for incoming free agents. Cam, I don't know about you, but would you want to play for the Dallas Cowboys if, say, you were still playing and you saw the way they treat Parsons on kind of the way out? Like, does that make you want to sign there?
Not at all, Jake, because you think about it, too, when Parsons was being covered, he said it was stressful, like he wasn't really sleeping like that, and that's not anything that you want to be a part of. And you just take this out of the football context, Jake. If you're just a 9-to-5 worker, you want to negotiate, have a good workplace to go to, if you want to get a promotion or a raise, like what does this look like? And if you're beefing with your owner and he doesn't respect you, even if you go to a different location, like it's just not a good look, dog. That's bad business. Cowboys are bringing in dollars, but they're not really building up the social equity, I think, with their players, with their fan base. And it's about that time for Jerry to shake loose. So in saying that, Jake, I got the Packers winning this one because it's a revenge game. I feel like I got the Packers winning this one 27-21. The Cowboys defense, their defensive backs aren't cutting it like we mentioned these past few games. They'd be getting torched, and so I think they're going to get torched this game. I think Micah Parsons is going to have a field day with that offensive line. He's seen them for multiple years. He kind of knows what their weaknesses are. So Gary and himself, I think they're going to have a field day back there. But I got the Packers winning this one.
Yeah, I agree completely. Not just the revenge aspect. I just think the Packers are just way better. So I think they're going to come in and they're going to have their way. Whatever they want to do. Do they want to pound the rock early on with Josh Jacobs? I think they're going to play with their food, and then I think in the second half you see them kind of emerge and win this game 33-20. I think I mentioned it earlier. I think Jordan Love is going to be one of the top performers of the week and the top performer of all quarterbacks in the league. He's got a secondary that just, man, they can make anybody look good. They're not good right now. It is tough for them. Deron Bland is the only one out there that I really like. They're definitely missing Jordan Lewis, who's now in Jacksonville. But because he's in Jacksonville, he can't help him in this one. So, I just think that the defense is going to get to Dak. Dak doesn't have CD. I think he'll do enough to keep them competitive for the first half, and then the Packers roll. So 33-20 is my prediction. I just don't see this one being particularly close at the end.
Yeah, we just talk about like the run game. What does the run game look like? I mean, Swift was running all over. Kind of, right. I'm looking at the rushing yards for the Bears. They had 87 versus the Cowboys 121. But Jacobs, I think he's going to get going, like you mentioned. And I think the biggest key to this game would be turnovers. The Cowboys had 4 turnovers against the Bears. My guy, that's not good. So they're gonna
Nope.
they're gonna have to cut down on those turnovers if they want to have some success against the Packers. And what I will say, Jake, is you mentioned Dak Prescott showing up. I think, like you mentioned, he's doing the best that he can do at the end of the day with what he has. And so they're going to have to keep that ball rolling. And you think about just Jamal Williams, he had 56 yards rushing last week, which is okay. Joe Milton stepped in towards the end of the game last week too. So hopefully we don't see too much of Joe Milton. I mean, love the guy, but we want to see Dak back there throwing the football, willing and dealing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can agree. As long as you're not a Cowboys or Packers fan, we can all agree we just want a close game anytime it's a primetime game, right? Just like have it be fun.
Hey, Jake, to be fair, we talked about some of these primetime games. We were talking about Thursday Night Football last week, and I just want to shout out that Dolphins and Bills matchup was way better than I thought. It was way. I agree. I mean, it was way better than I thought. Of course, Tua throwing the interception towards the end of the game, like, bro. WTF, like I think he's still seeing ghosts and stuff, but we'll pray for his mental there. But it was a better game than I thought. So I hope that this Cowboys-Packers game is just as good.
Yeah, I think that was the tale of like the Bills were just playing with their food the whole time. But I do agree. It was a close game and the Dolphins had a shot, we'll say, at one point. Yeah. And that's all you can ask for, right? On a short week, right? Monday Night Football. We'll keep this quick because your Dolphins that you were just talking about are playing the Jets. 0-3 versus 0-3. Battle of the irrelevant. I'm going to take the Dolphins here 27-20 because they're at home. But honestly, to be fair to the Jets, they were really close to knocking off the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Bills, they destroyed them, whatever. And they're the Bills. Yeah. And game 3, they kind of had it against Tampa. Yeah. And then, obviously it's just hard. Baker Mayfield runs that 2-minute offense so well. Mm-hmm. They could not stop that. But they had the block kick and everything. They made a feverish comeback. Tyrod Taylor is proven time and time again he is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Yeah.
I don't know if Justin
Lou
Fields...
Will. Just 6-man back up, just fire.
No, absolutely. I mean, you could just slide him right in there and he's going to at least move the football, right? It's not one of those things where it's like, okay, our backup's in. We can't really call the same. No, you can call the same exact offense with a Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. With that said, I don't know if Tyrod is going to start or if it's going to be Justin Fields. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information here on a Wednesday. But I don't really care because I'm just going to go with this is going to be a close game and it's going to be in Miami, so I'll go with Miami 27-20. And I just think with how hard it was to stop Ibuka, how hard it was to stop Mike Evans, I just think Tyreek Hill is in for a huge day. Then you look at Jalen Waddle. There's just so many different ways that if Tua has any bit of accuracy, this game could honestly end up being a blowout.
Yeah, and it's also too decision making. I think Tua's gonna have to make great decisions this game. Since the Dolphins put so much pressure on the Bills, I got the Dolphins winning this one as well, Jake. 21-17. I think the Jets, like you mentioned, they're a decent football team. They're better than they used to be. I just still think they have the curse on them. Whatever that Jets curse is, they still got it. So I like the Dolphins. Achane. I know they have Tyreek Hill. I know they got Waddle, but I think he's the best player that they have on their team. I mean, he's running the football, he's catching it, he's everywhere. Like you cut the tape on and he's making plays, he's productive. I love him there. Still got Chubb on the defensive side, so you're still going to cause some pressure. You're still going to force some things, but that Dolphins defense, Jake, piss poor, brother. Like
not
piss
good.
Poor. It's not looking good over there. So I do think the Jets will still be able to move the football. I think it's gonna be a close game. And if they had the Buccaneers on the ropes, they'll definitely have the Dolphins on the ropes. But the Dolphins, I think, are slowly climbing up, and it's going to be in Miami. So the heat's going to be a factor. I know the Jets came from Tampa, so Jets, Tampa, Miami, it's about 10 degrees hotter out there. But I think the Dolphins are going to come away with the W on this one.
Yeah, I do as well. And then moving on to the last one. Can we get rid of this stupid doubleheader on a Monday Night Football? Okay, thank you. The last one, Cincinnati heads to Denver. Nope, don't like that. Nope. Do not like that. I don't. Heading to Denver is already like, okay, now I have to worry about the altitude.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, you're coming off an absolute drubbing against a team that you kind of considered, and I think we both talked about, was probably on the same tier as you. And now here you are. Jake Browning did not look good last week, man. And I don't think it's going to get any better against this Broncos defense, because we've talked about it before. Nick Bonito has become a star in this league right before our eyes. Patrick Surtain. I want to give a shout out to Riley Moss, who gets a lot of flack. But the reality is, I think he's played really well. This is what happens when you get targeted so much. And if you're only, making 49 to 50%, right? 49 to 50% of, your catches given up. It's like, that's not bad, but it's like how many times you're targeted. Like if you're targeted 30 times and you give up 15 catches and people are like, he sucks, he gave up 15 catches. It's like, he's been targeted 30 times and you have the defensive player of the year on the other side. But the big thing here that I want to point out is not just how good the secondary is, because obviously Brandon Jones is a good safety. Then you have, Hufanga, who's always been a guy that you've highlighted. You got Patrick Sternad there, Justin Sternad, excuse me, who I've always been a fan of coming out of college. But the thing that I want to highlight here is Jonathan Cooper is one of the top pass rushers in terms of pressures, and so is Nick Bonito. So I don't love this offensive line as it stands, and we just saw what the Vikings defense did. Man, they might not have to blitz that much. They might be able to get through with those two. Then you have John Franklin Myers, and then you got, a DJ Jones as well. I mean, this is a tough defense to go up against. So I think the Broncos are going to roll in this one 31-13.
Yeah, Jake, it's not looking good for the Bengals. Let's keep a spade a spade. Jake Browning was suffering against the Vikings. Brian Flores brought the heat against him. And so for this game, man, I'm going to say 34-10. Like, I don't even know, unless they run like screenplays, you know what I mean? To to Jamar Chase and those guys, it's not looking good. Jake Browning didn't really look great. Chase Brown, hopefully going to get him going. But you look back at this, you mentioned this Broncos defense. They had Jake 5 sacks against the Chargers, against Justin Herbert, that offensive line. And so if you can do that against them, what are you going to do against the Bengals? And so I like the Denver Broncos. The penalties, though, that was one thing in that Chargers game. They had 10 penalties to like the Chargers 3 penalties. And so those things can kill you as time progresses. Moving the ball down the field. You look at the Chargers game and the Broncos game, they only had 9 first downs, so the Chargers 29 first downs. So Bo Nix hopefully can continue to catch his groove, move the football down the field, only 147 passing yards. I think he's really going to have to lean on Dobbins to run the ball, make sure to open up the game up for him. Dobbins had 11. He was 11 for 83 with 1 touchdown. Hard to tackle. So that Bengals defense is going to have to get him down. But I like the Broncos crushing it. I like the Broncos crushing them in that altitude. It's going to be a tough day for the Bengals.
It is. And speaking of tough day, it's going to be hot. It's going to be heavy. It's in Tampa. I don't have to tell you. You know Tampa very well. Yeah. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both of which are 3-0. Eagles come off a last-second win involving a blocked kick, and the Bucs come off a last-second win involving a blocked kick against them. So, wild stuff there. Both are 3-0. Cam, I have some feelings about this game. I feel like the Eagles have had a hard time in Tampa, but it's interesting. It's not as simple as to say Tampa's banged up, because they are, right? But they're also going to be getting some help. So, sounds like Chris Godwin might return. Even though they lost Mike Evans, they might have Chris Godwin to go with Ibuka. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, Tristan Wirfs is expected to make his season debut. He's the best left tackle in the game.
Yeah. That's a plus right there, right? One goes out, the other comes in. Got Tristan Wirfs back. even though we're saying that, Jake, and I think I talked about this with the Eagles and the Rams game, I said that the Eagles unfortunately were going to win this. I went on a podcast, an Eagles podcast. Now, of course, I was like, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting with the Eagles, but I'm going to go with the Rams. I chose correctly, and the Eagles, Jake, they're looking tough. One thing I will say about this Eagles offense, Kevin Patullo, he has to get A.J. Brown involved a little bit quicker, because that Rams game, he didn't get A.J. Brown involved until like the second half. He had 100 or so yards. But that first half, the Eagles got shut out. Saquon Barkley got shut out. I don't know if Saquon's going to get shut out a second time. He got shut out once, Jake. I don't know if he's going to get shut out again. So I think Saquon's going to go maybe for about 70 or 80 yards, 100 rushing yards compared to his 50 against the Rams. I think that defensive line for the Eagles is just tough to deal with, brother. And so they're going to have to give Bucky Irvin that football in the flat. They got Zach Bond on the defensive side, the linebacker spot. He's crushing it. But I think the Eagles win this one, Jake, in a tight one, 24-20. The Buccaneers, it was a little bit too close for comfort against the Jets, Jake. Like, they're supposed to be spanking on the Jets, and that game was a little bit too close for comfort. So I got the Eagles winning this one against the Bucs. How about you?
Yeah, it's not quite what we thought, right? The Jets being in that the way it was, but hey, I have the Eagles winning this game, 30-24. I think the Bucs are going to be in it all the way through, and I think they're going to give up a last-second big play to Dallas Goedert. My issue lies in the linebacker room. I have a lot of respect for Levante David. I think Servase Dennis is a good tackler. But as far as in coverage, I do think that's where you can exploit them. And I just think, looking at last week, the seam buster over the top to Dallas Goedert, which got them to within striking distance. They have that. They have Devontae Smith. They have A.J. Brown. They can win games. We just saw without Saquon Barkley going off. But what happens when he does? And then on top of that, they have that defense that, just wears you down. Jordan Davis lost a ton of weight, and you see it immediately. He just looks so much faster. He just looks so much faster. Him, Jalen Carter.
Spit boy. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
It's
I had to call it out. I mean,
it's going to be, let's put it this way. I don't love what's going on that right side of the Buccaneers offensive line. So for that reason, I'm going to say that the Eagles have enough there to win this game. It's going to be a fun game, though.
It is going to be a fun game. I will say that I want to call out Lane Johnson did go out in like that first quarter against the Rams. And so the Rams started licking their chops. Byron Young, Jared Verse, like, oh, great, let's go to town. And the Eagles, they had a deep a tackle that was in. I can't think of his first prior, and then they put in Johnson after that. And so then when Johnson came in, things start flowing a little bit more. I think the Eagles, they fixed their issue. And so, of course, the issue, Lane Johnson not playing, that's like a Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer. Yeah. That's a different ball game, but they figured things out a little bit on that side of their offensive line. And I think that this game for the Buccaneers, they're going to have to press on that just a little bit more. They're going to have to press on that just a little bit more, see if they can find a chink in the armor. They're going to have to force turnovers. Jalen Hurts really hasn't turned the ball over like that. They're going to have to stop him from running. So it's going to be a true challenge, but I got the Eagles winning this one too.
Yeah, and we move on to one of the games of the week. I would say the Eagles-Bucks is the game of the week. Well, this one should be right up there. Rams-Colts. And, man, this is something else, because the Rams are coming off a game in which they were beating Philly by 19, and the Colts are 3-0. So who cares what they did last week against the Titans, and they blew them out. But the Colts right now are 3-0. The Rams are 2-1. This is at SoFi Stadium. Last time these two played, it went to overtime, and you had Anthony Richardson make a feverish comeback in a game that they were outplayed in for the majority. They got hot in the fourth quarter. They made it, and then all of a sudden, Puka Nacua comes through with a game-winning touchdown. What happens this time, Cam? What are you thinking?
Jake, I'm gonna have to go Rams on this one, dog, just because we need to come away with the win after that Eagles matchup. I mean, it just hurts the soul too much not to win this one. I think this matchup, though, is going to be tougher than the Eagles matchup. Reason being, Daniel Jones is clicking, Jonathan Taylor is clicking, Pittman is. I mean, they got a lot going on in that offense. What I will say though is if the Rams, if we take care of the football, we'll be just fine. Moore had like a pick six. Colts DB number 23 had a pick six, first play of the game. Jonathan Taylor had. He was 17 for 103 with 3 touchdowns. My guy. So the Rams are known for stopping great running backs, right? Saquon Barkley last week. Well, they're known as of this year of stopping great running backs. Last year, can't say the same, but I think the key to victory, the Rams going to stop Jonathan Taylor. That's going to be big. Make sure that he suppressed Daniel Jones. He was 18 for 25 for 228 on 1 touchdown. And then Michael Pittman, he was 6 for 6, 73 yards. His yak game is strong. And so those are some of the things that the Rams have to focus on. What I will say, though, Jake, is that I've been talking about this, is when you talk about the running game, you talk about Kyren Williams. I want to see a few more carries for Blake Corum, just 2 more. Just give me 2 or 3 more carries for Blake Corum, and then sharing some of that football. Devontae Adams, he has 17 to 15 targets with only like 7 catches per game. Let's go ahead and get Tutu the ball. Let's go get Dennis Allen the ball. And I feel like I broke a record a little bit, Jake, but you look at that Eagles game, things could have been a little bit different if we're spreading the football around. So the Rams have some things to fix. But what I will say, though, is the Rams return game, Blake Corum in the return game has been a positive. That's been really cool. Xavier Smith has been a positive in the punt return game. But I think the Rams win this one. They beat the Colts, Jake, 28-20. What are your thoughts?
I'm with you. I think the Rams win this game 30-23. I think a lot of what you said is true. I think first off, Matthew Stafford missed way too many layup throws last week. I don't expect that to be the case this week. The run game was averaging 5.2 yards per carry. You need to stick with it. The receiving game needs to have some more diversification in their targets. Right now, both Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are top 6 in targets in the league right now. Tutu Atwell has 3. Jordan Whittington has 4. Whittington got the start. I want to see more Whittington and Tutu Atwell. In addition to that, if you're going to run 12 personnel, you have to get the tight end involved in the passing game. You can't just run 12 personnel, because then if you're not going to throw a Tyler Higbee, well, I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to key in on that. Kyren Williams is 3rd on the team in targets with 6. You have 35 to Nacua. You have 28 to Adams. So they need to obviously mix it up. I understand Sean McVay is akin to candy store having 2 of the best wide receivers in football, but you got to mix it up. In addition to that, the defense. You have to be able to defend, and if you can't make the play like against A.J. Brown last week. Emmanuel Forbes, Darius Williams, I'm talking to you. Make the tackle. Force the tackle. Don't try and punch the ball out. Don't allow a receiver, don't allow a ball carrier to reconfigure themselves, get themselves ready to run after the catch. You have a guy on a comeback route, his leverage is going to allow you to tackle him. He's literally moving opposite of the chains. He's literally going opposite of where he needs to go.
So don't miss the tackle.
Yeah, don't miss the tackle. Tackle him. Don't try and punch the ball out. Don't tackle high, because guess what? You know what happens when a 180-pound or 190-pound guy tries to punch at A.J. Brown at the top? A.J. Brown will run you over. He will run you over, and that's what he did. So guess what? Michael Pittman Jr. could do that same damn thing. He is a physical receiver. Then you have Tyler Warren that you have to worry about. Daniel Jones is a game manager, but you know what? He's a game manager that's improved significantly and can go above and beyond when it's required. He's playing better within the confines of the pocket, better pocket awareness, better pocket mobility. And so Chris Shula is going to have an interesting decision in this one, because Jones has dealt with blitzes well. In the past, he hasn't. So he's dealt with pressure. He's getting rid of the ball way, way long. Like, he's had the ball for 2.83 seconds, I believe, and Matthew Stafford's at 2.53, which is first in the league. So the thing is, the one thing that I've noticed with this Colts team, and obviously Jonathan Taylor is going to be a problem. You have to be able to stop him. He's breaking tackles. He looks like he's back to where he was. But here's the deal, okay? There is one thing that you can do against this Colts team that the Rams consistently do, and they will have success if they do it. Get the Colts to 3rd and long. I just went through and I watched every single game of the Indianapolis Colts this year, 3 games, on tape. And one thing I noticed is Daniel Jones in this offense does not do well on 3rd and long. That's something that should be huge for the Rams because they're horrible on 3rd and long. It seems like they always give up 3rd and long. So you get a guy to 3rd and long and they struggle. Well, the hope is that they're just struggling more than you're struggling and they're not going to come through with it. But I think the Rams win this game 30-23. I think this is a game where Kenny Moore is out. You might not have Alec Pierce. I think this is a game where you're going to attack that slot. Kenny Moore's one of the better nickels in the league. And if he's not playing, which he's not, then I think you're going to be able to throw against him. And I think you'll be able to throw against Xavier Howard. And I think you'll be able to throw against Charvarius Ward. So I expect the Rams to move the ball. I expect the Colts to move the ball. But I think the Rams will just do just enough to win in LA.
Yeah, and Jake, I just want to go back and highlight how much are we missing Ahkello Witherspoon. I see the jersey back there.
Yes.
I said it last week. I'm saying it again this week. Like, it's a struggle at that defensive back position. Like, we need to figure something out there because A.J. Brown just did what he wanted last week, bro, and it wasn't pretty. So we're gonna have to change that up a bit. I think that's going to be a key. Is like, hey, should we make sure that we blitz some of those sides so the quarterback Dan Jones doesn't look that way? Like, let's figure something out. But applying some pressure, I think, Jake, one of the call outs, Nate Landman, he's going to be very active this game. Stopping Jonathan Taylor, he's going to be very active. Spates as well. Those guys are going to have to do a good job of stopping the run. But let's not forget, Daniel Jones can also run as well. He can also scatter. So just like Jalen Hurts was able to run that football, Daniel Jones might do the same thing. So we have to contain that running game.
No, I completely agree. Absolutely agree. Poona Ford's going to be big in this game. And last thing I'll say, Grover Stewart knocked away one of the field goals of what was it? Joey Sly last week. So they also got a hold of a field goal. That needs to be figured out because Josh Carty is one of the best kickers in football, but he's not going to be worth anything if he doesn't have protection. I mean, it's just unacceptable, inexcusable, and can't happen. And it happened against the Titans, by the way. So, it's the Colts did it. Duck. Yeah, they got to figure it out. But now we have a game that I think a lot of people thought would be the game of the week, and now it's still a very highly anticipated game. But the Ravens 1-2 take on the 1-2 Chiefs. So one of these teams is going to be 1-3. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one, 35-27. I think the Ravens, I told you off air, I hate their defense right now. I just don't like watching it. It's not fun. It's just not good. Jair Alexander has lost his step. Unfortunately, it looks like the injuries may have caught up to him. And then on the Chiefs side of things, they're a boring team in general. But because the defense is so bad for the Ravens right now, I think the Chiefs will be able to move the football. They'll be able to put up points. But if I'm going, offensive game here, I'm taking the Ravens at home, on the road. I mean, that's one thing they can do is score the ball. So I'm going to say that Lamar Jackson is able to get away from pressure, make this a tough game. They're going to get Zay Flowers involved this week because they should have done it last week. And I think they end up winning 35-27. Mahomes at some point or another needs some weapons. Not really high on this unit at all. I think Tyreek Hill is probably going to be traded for if the Dolphins keep losing. But until then, really right now they're just hoping for Rashee Rice to come back and be the guy that they're expecting him to be.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are out, that's super brutal. What I will say, though, T. Thornton, he's been stepping up, number 80. He
has.
Patty Mahomes missed him. I think that the first game, he missed him a couple of times right when Xavier went out against the Chargers. Derwin James pushed Travis Kelce right into him. He went out. T. Thornton and Patrick missed each other a lot. They're figuring it out now, Jake. They're starting to get that groove, which is great. Thornton went 5 for 9 for 71 yards, long as 33 yards. So he had a 33-yard catch like on a defender. It was nasty. Kareem Hunt doing a decent job. Him and Pacheco finding a good groove back there. I got the Chiefs on this one, Jake. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Ravens, just seeing Derrick Henry fumble that football 3 games in a row, my guy, in the fourth quarter, like that's unacceptable. And I think that the Chiefs will be licking their chops. They're like, hey, we're a boring team. We're boring defense, boring offense, except for Patrick. But one thing we do know is we're going to punch that football out. So I think they're a pretty disciplined team. And I think that the Ravens, they're exciting, bro. They're everything that you want them to be. They just can't get it done. Lamar is a Hall of Famer, and he has Hall of Famers around him that are struggling. And it's like, Andrews had a good game. To be fair, Andrews had a good game last game. Scored in the red zone, had some big catches. Derrick Henry, I think, only ran for about 50 or so yards. And so he's going to be pissed off this week. I know that. But I think this Chiefs defense is just too good and too disciplined to let him run all over like that, Jake. So I got the Chiefs in this game. I'm going to say 24-21 Chiefs, because that Ravens defense is going to let up too many rushing yards, too many passing yards, and you can't do that against Patty. You just can't do that against Patty, my guy. It's going to be a long day.
So next up, interesting one here, 2-1 Jaguars, who look like a completely different team, versus the 3-0 49ers, who also look like a completely different team. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the 49ers, and I don't care. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I really like what I've seen from their defense. Really? I like what I've seen from Tyson Campbell on the outside. I've liked what I've seen, from Jordan Lewis, as I mentioned earlier. I think this team right now, their defense is going to give them a chance. Now, this is not an admission of me saying that I'm buying into Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is one of the main reasons why I don't buy into the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, I'm not high on Trevor Lawrence at all, but I do think they'll be able to run the football with Travis Etienne, right? With Bashal Tutin, who had another touchdown. And I believe you saw it this past week. That huge play, to Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, you see that guy's explosiveness, and it's like, it's just one quick slant, and it could just end your day. And I just feel like it's going to be that type of a close game where the 49ers are probably winning 17-13 late. And I'm going to bank on that. I think instead of that, I'm going to say Travis Hunter is going to take a slant or something along those lines, a post for a touchdown. And the Jaguars are going to win 20-17.
Okay. I think Christian McCaffrey is too good to let the Jacksonville Jaguars beat him. I think he's too dynamic in the run game, too dynamic in the pass game. If Brock Purdy is back, I think they'll cook. Ricky Pearsall, I just picked him up on my fantasy team. The guy's getting good. 10+ points a game. He's making crazy over-the-shoulder catches. The fact that he got shot, bro, what was it, last year? And then now bouncing back and being top 25 receiver in the league right now. Like, he's going crazy. So I like Ricky. I like that team. Nick Bosa, unfortunately, ACL. Bro, it's only week 4 and these guys are getting injured, and it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But I will say, though, Saleh being the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, seeing him, jacked up on the sidelines for his team, making big plays, I think that's huge. 49ers coming off of a close win against the Cardinals. But I do think that the 49ers win this one. I don't know if the Jacksonville Jaguars have it. There was a Josh Hines Allen is someone that the 49ers have to keep an eye on, because I think he called game the most recent one, right? He had towards the last 2 minutes, swatted it out against CJ Stroud, and ended their day. But I like the 49ers on this one, Jake. I like the 49ers 24 to the Jacksonville's 21. I think, like what you mentioned, Travis Hunter, it's his time to show up, right? He had a nice spin move, juke move the previous game. He had some good defensive coverage snaps, but I'm waiting for him to be like, hey, welcome to the league, rookie. Like a kind of like a Puka Nacua type of thing, where Puka, his first year, kind of went off and then started cracking. We need Travis to do the same thing, because he's just kind of, not saying just there, because I know he's playing offensive defense, but I just want to see a little bit more. See,
I think that right there is the Trevor Lawrence effect. He should be showing more, but anyway, hopefully he gets going in this game. I'd be looking out for Bryce Huff. Was with, Robert Saleh. When I covered them in 2022, you could just tell they had something special in him. And Robert Saleh got the most out of him, and he's having a great year. Philly couldn't figure it out. I don't know how, but Robert Saleh figured it out in the first game. So there you go. We move on to the next game here. Vikings Steelers. I'm going to take the Vikings in this one, and this thing is going to be the last second. I'm going to go 24-23 Vikings.
24-23. I like that, Jake. I'm going to go Vikings again as well in this one. Both defenses played really well. They both got 5 turnovers, 4 forced fumbles. I can't say that enough because that's good ball, brother. Like when your team does that, not many teams do that I'll probably do that in a year, right? 5 forced fumbles, whatever it is, but or like a 6-game streak, but they did it in 1 game, and that's crazy. So both defenses are humming. Carson Wentz stepping back in and make things happen. Aaron Rodgers finding the end zone a couple of times, but I got the Vikings this game. I'm going to go, it's going to be a tight defensive one, so I'm going to go 24-21. It's going to be a close one. And I think this game is overseas as well, Jake. I think this is an international game. So there's going to be
give me the Vikings then.
Yeah, international vibes. Let's go to the Vikings on this one. I think Carson Wentz has another great day. I think Mason runs the ball really well. The thing about the Steelers, Jake, is that their running game. Jake Warren, he's a good back, but I think they're missing Najee Harris. Of course, Najee just got hurt. But I think they're missing Gainwell. Gainwell, he's a good runner. He's a good back, decent back, but they need a home run hitter, and I think they're missing that. And so I like the Vikings in this one. And I don't know, Jake, I don't know if the defenses have a great day, such a great of a day as they did last week. I think ball security is going to be prime on both sides. So I think we'll see fewer of those, but I got the Vikings, Brody.
Field condition, like we don't know what that's going to look like either. But yeah, I think the Vikings right now, they're coming off a huge win. I really do think, and this is why it was nothing against JJ McCarthy personally. When you have a team that's ready to compete, you were just in the playoffs. You won 14 games. I'm sorry. I need a quarterback that can run this offense, and I don't need to hold his hand. And to be fair, McCarthy was a big reason why they won the first game. But he also put them in a huge position where they had to come back and win the game that way. So it kind of goes both ways. But I think Carson Wentz is just playing, hey, defense is giving me this. I'm going to take this. He's not making too many unforced mistakes, anything like that. When you make good decisions, your team pays out for it, especially when you have a defense. And I'll tell you, there's not a lot of mobility coming from Aaron Rodgers right now. Okay, it's not like it's going to get any better. So I think this is one of those ones where, like, Jonathan Grenard could have been my defensive performer of the week. I think he's going to have a huge game going up against Broderick Jones at left tackle. I think he is really good. And then they have other guys as well that can rush the passer, no doubt about it. But I think Grenard could have a huge game, against the Steelers. But we move forward here. Commanders 2-1 taking on the 1-2 Falcons. Falcons were dumbfounded to get absolutely pulverized by their rival Panthers. I don't think they were expecting that. I don't think they were expecting that.
Jake, I was shocked to be honest. I mean, but they did trade out their kickers. Yeah, kicker missed 2 kicks. Yeah, it was it was a doozy for sure.
It really was. I thought they got rid of Younghoe Koo a little early. I know that sounds weird because it's not like he was great, but I felt like that was a mistake. And I'm not going to say that's why they're losing. But the Commanders, they don't. I mean, we called this. We said, okay, it's Marcus Mariota. It's his, revenge game against the Raiders. Like, whatever, right? Like, they'll win. Yeah. They'll find a way to win. I don't think we realized how much they would win by. I don't think they're going to win by as much because I think the Falcons are going to be able to get pressure. I stand by this. Josh Connerly Jr., young player at right tackle, he's still going to be a problem, and not in a good way right now. He's giving up a lot of pressures and sacks. I believe he's given up 5 sacks already, Cam. So, yeah, I don't care who's at quarterback. That is not going to be easy to play quarterback when you have that at right tackle. And since I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for sure, is it going to be Daniels? Is it going to be Mariota? I can't say for sure there's going to be a blowout. I think the Falcons are going to give them a run, but then I think the Commanders run away with it in the second half. Give me the Commanders 27-14.
27-14, Jake. I agree with you. I like Commanders in this one. I'm going to say it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm going to go 21-19. Reason being, Michael Penix Jr., is he going to start or is Kirk Cousins going to start? What does that look like? What I will say, though, is Dan Quinn's facing his former team, right? Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator for the Falcons for a while.
Oh, my God. Another revenge?
Another revenge game, Jake. I think that the Commanders pull away with this one. Mariota, I think he did a good job of, like you mentioned, similar to Carson Wentz, right? Stepped in, didn't make too many mistakes, but just stepped in and did his job. If Jaden Daniels plays this game, it's going to be even more of a blowout, I think so, Jake. But for the Commanders, they got to stop Bijan Robinson. I think at the end of the day, he's still a dynamic runner. He's going to be a problem. Michael Penix Jr. had two interceptions, I think it was, last week against the Panthers, and so they yanked him. They yanked him out of the game there. So I think the Commanders come away with this one. I think, like I mentioned, Dan Quinn's going to have a hell of a game plan lined up for the Falcons, and playing against Raheem Morris and that football team. Jake, losing by 30 points, that's embarrassing, my guy. And so Falcons going to have a little bit more fight this week, but I don't think it's going to be enough for the Commanders.
I think it's a good look for the Panthers, who wrap up our key games here. 1-2 Panthers, coming off a last-second loss to the Cardinals, and then a blowout win against the Falcons. Now they're playing the 1-2 Patriots, who finally got a win, against the Steelers or they lost against the Steelers. They finally got their win against the Dolphins. They lost a close game as well to the Raiders. This is a team that I think is going to be much better later on in the year. But I think they're better than giving credit for now. My one issue that I have is that they haven't gotten TreVeyon Henderson going. I think he could be a complete difference maker for them. But they did get Hunter Henry going last week. And you know what? I hate to do this. I mean, I appreciate the contributions that Christian Roseboom made with the Rams. But I think he and Trevin Wallace are going to have a really hard time defending Hunter Henry. So I think Henry's in for another huge game. I have the Patriots winning this game 24-18. I think it's going to be a close one. I think Bryce Young is going to give them opportunities to win this game. Ultimately, I think the Patriots, they're the better team. They're at home. I think it's just going to be too much. So give me the Patriots 24-18, and they now all of a sudden they're 2-2. And now you can start making that run to be in that sleeper team that Cam and I were discussing.
No, I like the Patriots on this one, Jake. 21-14 for the Panthers. Bryce Young didn't make many mistakes last game. I think that's what kept him in it. He didn't make many mistakes against the Falcons. He played a clean game, probably his best game this year in the past couple of games. But he looked good, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. You mentioned Roseboom. I think he had a forced fumble against the Falcons. I mean, bro, the Falcons had a rough week last. Yeah, they had a rough week, but so did the Patriots. The Patriots, Ramondre, like I said, he fumbled twice. They had a tough go at it, but I think this game they pulled it off. I just think the New England Patriots, they have a lot of weapons. They got Boot, they got Diggs, like you mentioned, they're tied in as well. And then Drake May, he's coming along. I mentioned it earlier. Hopefully he has a better outcome in his career than the CJ Stroud so far. I think it's CJ Stroud's third year. So Drake May looking pretty decent as of now. And I think they still have the best running back room in the league, Jake. One of the top 5 running back rooms. I think the Lions showed that they were number one on Monday against the Ravens. I think they showed they're the number 1 running back room. But Patriots aren't far behind. Those fumbles hurt them, but I think they're going to have a revenge game this week. Ramondre, I got him as my top performer this week, going off against the Carolina Panthers. And like you said, Hunter Henry's going to give him a hard time, and I think Ramondre's going to give him a hard time. So Patriots are up.
Yeah, and say what you will about Ramondre, but when it's not working in the run game, to be able to just rely on him as a receiving back is huge, and they can do it. So, we both have the Patriots. Now rapid fire here to end the show. 1-2 Bears taking on the 1-2 Raiders. Cam, I got the Bears 34-30 in an absolute barn burner. You mentioned Caleb Williams. Well, I think he's going to have quite the day. And I also think Trey Tucker is going to have quite the day. So both of your guys, I'm expecting to have days. What say you?
I love it, Jake. I got the Bears in this one as well, 27-21. Geno Smith's going to play a decent game, throwing a Trey. Trey's going to go off a bit, but I think Caleb, he's starting to click. He's starting to figure it out. I think those guys pull it off. And then also, too, I mean, talk about the defense for the Bears. Those guys showed out. I know Trey, I think, had like 15 tackles and like 2 interceptions, I think it was. So that Bears defense clicking and coming along nicely. So I like the Bears in this one.
Yeah, I do too. And I like them in that element where they're not outside. Like, give me Caleb Williams in kind of like an arena football type of vibe, dome football. Yeah. We like that. The 1-2 Browns take on the 2-1 Lions. Look, the Browns, great win, but this ain't in Cleveland. Yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to ever pick the Lions to lose at Ford Field. It just feels like it's just inevitable for them to find a way to win. I'm going to take the Lions in a blowout here, 45-17. I think the worst thing that could have happened to the Browns if they wanted to win this game, great thing that they won. That's not a bad thing. But if you wanted to win this game, winning the way they did against the Packers, worst thing that could have happened. Lions are going to trounce them.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a blowout too. It's going to be a blowout, Jake, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout how we think it is. Numbers wise, Jake, I think the final score is going to be 31-21. And 10-point difference, that's a gap, but I think that this Browns defensive line is a good defensive line. Joe Flacco, on the other hand, what does that look like?
He's doing everything.
But I think this Browns even Yeah. I mean, he's doing that. Dylan Gabriel's behind him, like licking his chops, waiting to get in. But this Browns offense isn't as good as we want them to be. Even though their running game has picked up, Jake. Their running game has picked up for the Browns. Judkins, going off, doing his thing, finding Jerry Jeudy down the football field. They're finding some good stuff, but I don't think they'll have enough to get it done. I do think Myles Garrett gets a few sacks on Jared Goff this game. I know that Lions offensive line is excellent, but it's going to be a night. Penei Sewell versus Myles Garrett is going to be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to that one, but I got the Lions winning this one as well.
Oh, we got Alex here with the comment. Browns lost to Juan Jones. Expect Hutchinson to feast. Yeah, that's a significant loss. So, yeah, I think it's going to be brutal. Speaking of another blowout, 30-12. I got the Chargers beating the Giants. Look, I understand why Russell Wilson isn't playing. I never would have signed Russell Wilson to begin with. But Jameis Winston should be starting this game. I think throwing Jackson Dart into the fire, his first game, yeah, you're at home, so you got half of it right. You want to have them play at home first. But throwing them against a 3-0 Chargers, what? Are you out your damn mind?
Yeah, against Derwin James?
Derwin James? Well, Khalil Mack's out. Like, what was that justification? Like, oh yeah, Khalil Mack's not going to play. Like, I don't understand it for the life of me. I don't get it. So
yeah, you don't want Jackson to get booed like his first start. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be field goal, and field goal for the Giants. So
punt, field goal.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if Jackson Dart can lead them to field goals, the way the Giants defense is played, you have to think maybe a Giants fan thinks they have a shot. But I just think the Chargers, man, they're legit. Like they're actually really good. The way they win games, it's impressive. And they can win games late. It's not one of those things when you see a team that's able to get things done in crunch time. That's a scary team. That's the Chargers for you. So
yeah.
Who
you got? So what's the score prediction, Jake?
Oh, I got 30-12.
I got 40-14. Chargers are up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, bro. I think they're going to force some turnovers. I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a decent day, but I think he'll get shut down. Jackson Dart, welcome to NFL type moment. It is going to be a long day. I think I said Derwin James. He's going to make things happen. It's
Derwin James, Isaiah Rodgers perforence.
Isaiah Rodgers.
You could see
going to
it.
be like that. But Isaiah Rodgers had a pick six, and then he had a scoop score for a fumble, I think within like 5 to 10 minutes. So
That was
Isaiah
insane.
Rodgers, that was nuts. That was nuts. But I
Yeah.
do think it's going to be that type of day. It will be that type of day, though.
I could see 2 picks for Derwin James.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Or in like a sack fumble, like knocking Jackson Dart out the game. No, I don't want to say knocking him out the game, Jake, but like, welcome to the league, young man. Like, this is Derwin James here.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. He has a chance if he comes out and he's electric against the Chargers. No pun intended.
Yeah.
if he seriously comes out and he shows you something, no one is going to be like, "Ooh, it was only the Browns," but no, the Browns would be impressive too because of their defense. Well, anyway, point being is that no one is going to take anything away from the guy if he comes out there and balls out against the Chargers.
Right.
Speaking of blowouts, let's just continue with the blowouts. Bills 44-14 over the Saints. I just look. Yeah. I give Spencer Rattler a ton of credit for being out there, not really able to work with a whole lot because the offense just, I mean, it's decent on paper, but it's not quite what you were expecting.
Right.
I don't know. I think he's fine, but I think he's a backup. Like, I think you could argue he's like Case Keenum. Starting him and expecting to win games, it's tough, man. So 44-14. Bills roll in this one. It's in Buffalo, so.
Man, so I'm just gonna go 48 to 10. I'm going 48 to 10. I think this. Well, okay, 48 to 21. I'm gonna bump it up. I'm thinking about the offensive weapons that the Saints have. Right. I think Alvin Kamara, Juwan Johnson, and then Chris Olave. I think that this Bills secondary. This Bills defense is good, but they're not as good as they think they are. I think the offense is a lot better than they are, but the Bills defensive backs aren't as good. But I still think it's going to be a blowout. Alvin Kamara, he's winding down a little bit, Jake, but I think going against a Bills team, right, I think it's going to raise his level up a little bit. I think these guys are going to start kicking it. And you mentioned Spencer Rattler. He's giving me that Jake Browning type of vibe where it's like, good backup, but not necessarily a franchise quarterback. And so they might need to trade for quarterbacks like along with the Bengals as well. They're just both struggling. So, but I got the Bills blowing this team out too.
Yeah, and then I figured let's just calm down a little bit on the last one. Let's just call it not a blowout. How about a 16-13? And there you go. Texans 16-13 win over the Titans. Kind of one of those, oh man, that was close. I mean, Titans have some things I really like about them. I like Chiga Okonkwo. I like Elik Iomanor. You know who I really don't like right now, and I've always been a fan of his? Calvin Ridley. He's dropping everything. I mean, Cam Ward puts it right where it needs to be. Calvin Ridley. Oh, I don't know. I've never seen Ridley look this bad. Hopefully he gets out of his head, because if he does, well, Cam Ward is already making these throws. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
Cam Ward is showing you that he can put the throw on the money. He's got this kind of like quick sidearm release.
Yeah.
It makes it really tough on teams, but clearly not tough enough because this offensive line, not the interior, but the tackles are going to get him killed, as I've mentioned. And I have Will Anderson having a day. I'm going to say Will Anderson with 3 sacks in this game, a forced fumble. He's going to go off. And I feel for Cam Ward, and I'll tell you right now, I'm a believer in Cam Ward. Watching his 3 games on all 22, he's got it. He's got the it factor. Put an offensive line around, or at least 2 tackles around him. You might have something there. Yeah,
he has some good receivers, like you mentioned, Elliott coming from Stanford. To be honest, like, he might be one of my favorite wide receivers this year.
He's fun to watch.
Just the way he showed up, my guy, against the Rams. I mean, Cam Ward throwing, it was like that cross body pass for a touchdown. I'm like, oh,
these guys you should never do as a quarterback in the NFL. But hey, you got the arm to do it. I guess you could do it.
It was nasty. And then I think too with Pollard back there, he's a great runner. He's a physical runner. He ran pretty decently against the Colts. And so, like you mentioned, Cam Ward is a good player. That defense with Jeffrey Simmons, they're okay, but and the Texans are due for a win, Jake. CJ Stroud, like I mentioned, like there's got a tear rolling down the cheek because he's close, but not close enough. Nick Chubb is winding down, similar to Alvin Kamara, and I think he's due for a breakout game. And so I got the Texans 21, Titans 17, AFC South matchup. It'll be a good one, but got the Texans getting the dub finally.
Would you say this is the Texans' last shot if they want to salvage their season? Do they have to win?
I think so, Jake. I mean, going 0-4 is not pretty, dog. So I think so. And I think they're good enough, Jake. They're a good enough team. Like, you played against the Rams, and like it was a brawl, brother. Like, they were throwing blows, they were exchanging. It was a good ass game. They just couldn't put it together. And so I think the Texans got to win this one, bro, to save their season for sure. Even though it's only week 4, but
I agree. 0-4. No, I agree. I mean, at some point or another, yeah, it's been tough. You've lost in the final play of the game down this, like, literally with one score, right? Texans, they lose to the Rams, like you talk about. They lose on the final play to the Bucs. They lose on the final play to the Jaguars. They come up so short, just short, right? Yeah. And now it's like, it doesn't matter. If you come up short again to the Titans, well, now you're 0-4. So it's like, at some point or another, these excuses don't matter. So, no, I agree with you. I was high on the Texans coming into this season, so I'm a little dumbfounded by this. But you know what? Part of it doesn't surprise me because the Texans cared about everything except putting an offensive line in front of CJ Stroud. And now Stroud, if he was throwing the way he was, if he was throwing the football the way he was his rookie year with this bad offensive line, it might be okay. You can't get away with it with Stroud not playing his best right now, and you have no protection. So really unacceptable to put that offensive line out there. Just truly unacceptable. And that's what's ending up, that could end up being the backbreaker, Cam, truthfully.
Offensive line, bro, is so crucial. And I think just the major takeaway is make sure your offensive line is good and you'll have a decent ball club, right? Think about the Dolphins. Think about even the Bengals. Like, you got to fix that. Trade for somebody. Even think about the Rams and the Eagles matchup, right? We had 2 offensive linemen go down, one on each side, and that kind of changed the tide of the game a little bit. And so making sure those are tight, that's important.
Yeah, mind you, they didn't help their cause. So I don't know if you remember this, but the Texans traded away Kenyon Green to the Eagles to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who is now gone. They cut him. And they also traded away their left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, to the Commanders. And I just don't, for the life of me, understand what their plan was. I don't know. I mean, they gave up so much to go out and get him from the Dolphins. I don't know what the Texans are doing. I don't get it. I'm not going to try to get it. That's going to end our show. Sorry, Texans fans. I always say this, but you guys deserve better. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And check out some of our other videos. We've hit, we've missed. That's the beauty about it. You can come there and, if you want to shoot your shot, say, oh, yeah, I think this is going to happen. Do it. That's what the comment section are for. If you want to make fun of Cam and I for getting a pick wrong, because we'll have plenty of those, you can do it in the comment section. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.